Hi my lovely ones, it's Ethony. Welcome back to my channel, and today I am doing my video response to the only 10 mass market tarot deck selection, and this is my 2022 version. I am going to be switching cameras and showing a top down to go through the cards with you and talk a little bit about why I have chosen the decks that I have chosen. This is in no order and in no way, shape, or form is meant to be a ranking system or me saying like I wouldn't take a different deck. As many of you know, I have a lot of tarot decks. I started reading the cards when I was 15 years old, and I have slowly and surely accumulated quite a few, even though I have gifted and given away a lot. So this was very difficult for me to do, but I chose these decks for specific reasons, and that's why we're going to be going through them together. And I might do an indie version. I've been thinking about it if you are at all interested. And yeah, these are my picks and the reasons why. This is a response, and I believe the people who started this are Garden Goddess Tarot and Rose Honey Ritual, I believe. I found this through YouTube when I was just scrolling through, and I found a whole bunch of really great channels because of it. So here are my responses, and I hope you enjoy. My first selection is not going to surprise anybody, I don't think. It is the Druidcraft Tarot. Sorry about the glare, everyone. It's really dark in here, it being winter. I have taken the second border off this one and edged it. I have shown this so many times on my channel. I'm sure no one is surprised. I use this deck all the time for readings. I love the guidebook. I have the big guidebook, and I recommend that if you are into Druidcraft or you want to learn about Celtic mythology, Celtic magic, and even just, see, it's all over the place because I've been using it, even just this deck and the tarot itself, to get the bigger guidebook. You can get copies of this deck with the smaller guidebook, and I have one of them as a backup, but the artwork by Will Worthington is just like, it is so beautiful. And this is the deck that I won in the early 2000s when it came out at my friend's shop. She held a raffle and I won this deck, and I'm still using this copy to this day. The artwork is sublime. It is so detailed and beautiful. It's got some of my favorite depictions of the tarot. If you don't like nudity, obviously this is not going to be for you, but I just think it is just stunning. This reads like a dream. It is just so easy for me to pick up. It feels like home. It is a soul deck for me and always will be, and this is why it is. Look at this, 8 of Cups. Oh my god, it's gorgeous. This will always be one of my top picks for mass-produced decks. My next selection is the Enchanted Forest Tarot. I believe that is what it is called. Forest of Enchantment Tarot. It's a Llewellyn deck, and it is by Lunia Weatherstone and Merilea Allwood. I brought the book out to show you because I do feel like this is just one of those decks where it is such a blessing to have this massive book with all of the beautiful artwork. It has its own system: spells, boons, challenges, visions, instead of the standard suits. And the reason why I have chosen this as a deck that I would have as my, my 10 only mass-produced decks or my mass market decks is because it would give me something to be challenged about. It is so freaking beautiful that I would be very happy to look at this for a very long time. It has its own system for the courts as well, and it is gorgeous. It is fae, it is animal, but also like nature, and very like Witch of the Woods. and I just think it is just gorgeous, and I would really use this to connect with those spirits of the woods. I mean, look at, oh, it's just like living the dream, right? This weaver of boons, it's just like, this is what I want to do in a little beautiful witchy hut in the woods somewhere. And so I can't not have this on here. I think this is really massively underrated. I don't see it a lot. I mean, look at that. It is so beautiful. And I want this to come with me if I could only have, you know, 10 mass market decks, so that I could just dive into this enchanted forest every day, and get to know it more and more. And I actually think I bought 2 copies of this deck. If I really like a deck, I usually buy 2 copies, because if I lose a card, I want to be able to get a replacement. And if I beat the shit out of it because I am a really rough shuffler, oh, I just want to be able to pick up another one. This was me as a kid, you know, like I've said a lot of times on my channel that I used to like run around by the river that we had growing up and climb trees, and I've always loved nature, and I always saw fae and spirits. So this is very, very me. This reminds me of the stranger. We all know who he really is, from when he arrives in the Rings of Power. It is just exceptional. I'm falling in love with this all over again, just showing you. So this would be another pick for my 10. My next pick is the Halloween Tarot. It wouldn't be me without having at least one Halloween Tarot. And I do think this is the best that is out there mass market, and I love it. I have the larger guidebook. It does come with a little white book. This is by Karen Lee and Kipling West, and I just think it is magic. I love everything about this deck. It is so thoughtful. It is a Rider-Waite-Smith inspired deck, so it's so easy to read. I know it is a little, you know, cartoony, but it's that like almost like 60s, 70s sort of vibe with the Halloween, the way like the vintage Halloween, and it is everything. There's pumpkins, bats, ghosts, and imps. It's so well thought through. It is beautiful. I mean, even the symbols, like you still have that gargoyle or the dragon, whatever you want to see it, in this King of Pumpkins or the King of Pentacles. It is just, honestly, this deck is just everything. And I couldn't, like, even the little cat down here is like playing with the ball. Like, I can't even, like, the fish is a skeleton, and there's a pirate thing, and there's like, it is so good. The pumpkin, like, look, it's like peas. I just don't know how anyone doesn't love this deck. You're wrong. No, just joking. We all don't have to like everything, but I just think this is splendiferous. I love this deck. I can't speak. And I mean, the Hierophant, like the Egyptian mummy, like this is, you know, that part of the world is where so many of our myths and structures come from. It's just spectacular. I will forever love it. Like, look, there's like all the little tools in there. I just think it's really fabulous. If you haven't spent enough time with this deck, please do. It's no longer Halloween now. I've had a really challenging year, many of you know, with health and a lot of stuff going on. So I haven't had a lot of time to do a lot of readings. So I didn't really bring this out very much this year, but it is just a joy to behold every single time. And if you've overlooked this and you're now looking at it and seeing just how fucking spectacular this is, like, look at that. Oh, go and get it, and get the big book too if you can. This is from US Game Systems. Never, ever, ever a day regret. I mean, US Game Systems has incredible card stock too. This is one of those decks that would be like, if you're going to be on a desert island, what would you take? This would be one of them. Love it, love it, love it. The Halloween Tarot. My next deck is the Tarot of the Divine by Yoshitanai, and I absolutely love this deck. I have the larger book if you want to learn more about the different myths and legends and folklores and fairy tales, I do recommend you get that. But this is a little, it's just like a little guidebook, but I do love that it is in color. But the artwork in this is it is sublime. The cardstock is fantastic. It is just so, oh my gosh. You can tell Ethony didn't go through any of these. Beautiful backs. I love the representation in this deck. The art style is stunning. I love the borders, that they don't feel like they're taking away from the style. It is really this art style. The color palette is cohesive all the way through, which makes it just such a divine thing to read. Oh, look at that Nine of Wands. Oh my God, Baba Yaga. I can't say enough about this. Like, really, Yoshi really did an incredible job of matching the fairy tales to the tarot cards and the meanings of the cards. There is another fabulous one from Lisa Hunt that is spectacular. It is out of print though, so this one is really great, and I just think it's done really beautifully. If you like this art style, again, sorry everyone, if you like this art style, I just think this is so worth it. Reads like a dream, and you can learn a lot about the different legends, myths and folklores from around the world, and that would be another reason why I would pick this, because it's got so many layers to it, and it's really, really fun to learn. Oh, it's just so pretty. I just, yeah. Oh, beautiful, beautifully produced, really fun deck, gorgeous artwork. I can't recommend this one enough, and it's definitely my pick. I mean, oh, for a reason. It's just everything. My next deck is one that I love a lot. It is from the 80s, so I do recognize that it is older, so it was a different time. And you know, but this has taught me so much, this deck, that I can't not have it in my top. And if you're going to get this deck, please get the bigger guidebook. This is another US Game Systems deck, and you do have to buy this guidebook separate. I don't have the tuck boxes somewhere for this, but it's in this beautiful pouch that a Tarot Bumblebee gave me many years ago. What can I say about this deck? This deck has taught me, like I said, so much. It has a different system. It is a different art form. It is a very different style. It is not normally my style. Like, this is not an art style that I would have looked at and gone, yes, it is beautiful, but it wouldn't necessarily be one that I would be immediately drawn to. But it is the medicine in this deck. It is the magic in this deck that is phenomenal. It is something that has really had me explore different aspects of myself. As many of you know, if you've been watching my channel for a while, I spent time, even though this is more of the North American medicine, I spent time in South America. I started to do my South American shamanic trainings. I did my first round of initiations, then I moved country. So this really helped me and has helped me through a lot of my shamanic teachings. And it is really, really something special. And that's because I have a personal relationship with this deck and with this work. And that's the reason why I would be picking this, because this is a deck that speaks to me. It teaches me all the time. And I couldn't really leave this out of my list of only 10 mass market decks. I believe this is still available. I don't think this is out of print. I hope not anyway. I try to pick decks that are all available, but it is just one of those decks that is just a grand teacher for me, for sure. And that's why it's on this list. And the book, get the book as well, it's worth it. The next deck is the Light Seers Tarot by Chris Donnelly. I have the indie version of all of her decks, but I also have this version as well. And I know a lot of people have this on their list, and there is a very good reason why. I have chosen this on my list because not only is it incredibly beautiful, Chris has got some incredible resources as well on her website, but it is one of those decks that my clients reach for time and time again. So I would have this not only because I think it is divine, but also because it is a deck that I read a lot with for clients. It's a deck that I feel a lot of clients really respond to. They really have great interactions with it. I don't think I've ever shown this to someone and they say, oh my God, that's not beautiful. I mean, she is just chef's kiss. Everyone adores this deck that I've shown, that I've done readings for. It reads beautifully. It really just translates just something so magical. And it's a dream. It's a dream to shuffle. It's a dream to read with. And I just think it would be one of those decks I couldn't leave behind. Like I couldn't leave this and not have this with me to read for myself and to read with for clients. It's a familiar, very familiar friend at this point. I know what she's trying to say to me. She feels really great when I pick her up. Apparently I'm anthropomorphizing my deck. But Chris did such an amazing job. And yeah, I love it. I couldn't leave it behind, everyone. Absolutely could not. Gorgeous deck. And the little book, if you don't have it, it does have a good amount of information in here for each card. And Chris does have a lot of really cool resources on her site. And it's just really a beautiful piece of work, and no wonder everybody loves it. The next deck is the Star Tarot by Kathy McClelland, and holy crap a donkey, this is a phenomenal deck. I am in love with this deck. The book is so fabulous. You get so much information. It's such a wonderful deep dive. I love the fact that because this was written by the creator, every symbol in here that has been put in the cards is explored. It has the astrology. She talks about sacred days. It's just such a spectacular deck. So I have the first edition, which, if you guys all remember, had those hideous bloody borders. And then I bought 2 copies of the second edition because I think it is just spectacular. And I wanted to have an extra copy just in case I lost a card or whatever it may be. This is beautiful. Okay. I love the vibrant colors. I think that the artwork is sublime. It's so detailed. The symbology is so rich. I am a massive sucker for rainbows. And of course, it's got a lot of rainbows, a lot of stars. And for me, this is really where this wins for me. It wins for me because it just speaks of just this beautiful spectrum of light, and that we are all stardust, and it is superb. Superb. One of my all-time favorite decks is this deck. Actually, a lot of these decks on this list are my all-time favorites. It is like a beautiful witchy wonderland of magic and stars and just joy. Even in the harder cards, it's just joy. Like, look at this death card. We have, you know, the hooded death, the white butterfly, the phoenix, and, you know, we have Nut, the Egyptian goddess of the stars and the night sky. The symbology in just this one card alone is just incredible. I cannot gush about this deck more and more. It's been on my altar space, the space where I do all of my readings from, and it ain't going nowhere. And if that doesn't say enough about this deck, I don't know what can. Because I have a lot of decks, but this one, I mean, this High Priestess is just freaking everything. This one is a winner, and I adore it. So definitely very happy that this has a place on my list. The next deck is the Witch's Wisdom Tarot, and this deck is spectacular. A lot of people have talked about this one. Phyllis Carrot and Danielle Barlow. I love her Green Wheel Oracle, and I have that one. This comes in a bag, which I've left like folded up. And oh, it is just, woo-hoo-hoo. The set is gorgeous. This is from Hay House, I believe. Yeah, and like so good. Phyllis Carrot is a legend in the Wicca and witchcraft community. Danielle's artwork is so beautiful. This has its own system, and this is one of the reasons why I would choose this. Not only because I would be able to get lost in this artwork and spend time in this world that they have both lovingly created, but look at her, like the Witch of Earth. Oh, but it is a beautiful deck to work with if you are on the witch's path. It's going to teach you about yourself, your connection to the natural world around you, to the web of life and magic, to your inner child, to the gods and goddesses, your place in it. It's going to challenge you and do it in a way that is so beautiful and loving. It is not a deck, I don't think, for beginners, in a way that like you can't just pick this one up and transfer the Rider-Waite-Smith on it. But it doesn't matter because it's just so beautiful. It's one of those decks that like I don't normally go for decks that are very outside of being able to move them across, except for the Aura Soma Tarot, but this is one that I would do and will do forever because of that. I mean, oh, she's just so beautiful. The book, I mean, the book hasn't got like a ton of information. It's a larger size, like Hay House have larger cards. It doesn't have a ton of information, but it has enough, right? So it has the wisdom, the essence, the counsel, and the magic for each one. And so it's going to give you quite a bit. And then back here, we have the major arcana and its own system. So, you know, 13, the shaman, all that kind of stuff. So that's very different. And then we have the different messengers. So it's messenger, witch, craftsman, and goddess, instead of the page, the knight, the queen and king. But it is really a beautiful compendium and a beautiful companion to any witch looking to work with a deck that has a very uniquely witchcraft, nature, ancestral, modern craft connection. Oh, the medicine bag. Yeah, I can't recommend this enough, and it's definitely on the list because I will continue to learn from this for as long as I work with it, and I'm really happy about that, and it is just fucking stunning. So the next deck is the True Heart Intuitive Tarot by Rachel True, and this is, you know, came out in the last couple of years. It's pretty new, but I chose this because this deck, the artwork is so fucking cool. It's so easy to read with, and Rachel really knows her stuff. So I'm a massive fan of the craft. I remember when it came out, I was in school, and I knew after the craft that she was a tarot reader. Before like tarot became like this big thing that it is now. And so you know that this person Rachel's had a lot of years working with the tarot, and you can tell when you read the book and you look at these cards and all of the symbols in them and what she has decided to put in these beautiful cards. The card stock is pretty shit. I will give it that one thing. I hope that one day it gets better card stock. It's very flimsy, but I haven't stopped that from, that's so beautiful. I haven't stopped that from letting me love this deck. Oh, the Empress. So it's easy to read. It's multicultural. People really love it. The book is great. Like, the book has better paper stock than the deck. It's crazy. I find that this has got some great like high vibe and low vibe instead of like reversed and upright. It's really cool. I kind of skip, to be honest, all of the stuff about her own experience. Not because I'm not interested. There's a couple I read, but it's like I find I really want to like read the tarot stuff, but she only really goes into that in the major arcana. Then when you come here into the minor, it's more about the actual cards. But it's such a solid deck. Like, it's such a solid collection for the price point, that if you like this art style, it's definitely a great deck to give someone who is a modern reader. Really great for like teens and young 20s. I just think it's really beautifully done. Very, very well done. And I just love the art and I love her point of view. So that's why it's on my list. And my final pick is The Gaian Tarot by Joanna Powell Colbert. It was a toss-up between this and the Herb Crafters, but this has a really deep place in my heart. I have the Llewellyn version, which I actually prefer because these cards, babes, these need to be cut. Like, I think I'm going to do it this year. I think I'm going to cut them because the Llewellyn one this is the Schiffer Publishing one, I believe. Yeah. Even though I like the silver, it's just too much for me. So they're going to get trimmed. But the Llewellyn one is a more classic size, so it's easier to shuffle. But this is beautiful. This deck is beautiful, but I'm getting the fuck rid of these horrid blue borders. But this deck and guidebook is a fucking gift of magic to the world. It is about healing ourselves, healing the earth, the connection we have. Like, if you can't half tell with all of the decks that I've chosen, this is all about using the tarot to heal and to empower ourselves to be the best that we can in nature and just for everybody around us. And it's modern, but it's ancient. It's real life magic, but it's classic tarot. It speaks of different people's experiences, different backgrounds, I believe that is Joanna, different places on the planet. It's just absolutely stunning. So like, I know that's definitely her. So her artwork is so beautiful. The book is fabulous. The book has like working with the cards and all that kind of stuff, but it is really, there's journal prompts for all of the major arcana and the symbols, and then when you get into the minor, there is affirmations and all that sort of stuff. So it's a great guidebook. It's definitely worth reading, the guidebook, but for me, it's the whole package is incredible. And I think that this one and the Herb Crafters Tarot are such gifts, but I had to choose this one because this is like the OG for me, of her decks, and it just speaks to me on such a deep deeper level. So those are my decks. I hope you really enjoyed my pick. Did any of them really surprise you? Have you done a VR to this? If you have, pop it in the comments. I would love to watch it. I've been watching all of them while playing Disney Dreamlight Valley. Make sure you go check everybody else's out. I will put some videos of the ones I found also in the description box. And here's to a fantastic rest of your day, evening, whenever you're watching this. And I'll see you next time.